I have never really felt my age. Most of my jobs have involved working with small children, where not only am I playing games like hide and go seek, does it look like I can hide anywhere? But I am also constantly being mistaken for either a 16-year-old or a 65-year-old, as kids seem to have no concept that there are any other ages in between. I also really believe in old souls and new souls. As a child, I would sneak away from the kids' table to nosh on lamb chops instead of chicken fingers, escaping drivel about Sesame Street to join the adults in discussions about global politics, presidential candidates, and fine wines. Red wine with fish, Steve, Willie. Ugh. I was working at an elementary school aftercare program when I met Allison, a 6-year-old first grader with the spirit of an 85-year-old curmudgeon. So basically, she was my soulmate. Allison didn't seem to care that the other children didn't really play or engage with her. She had no time, no interest in or patience for the shenanigans of the other children her age. While the boys on the playground would be trying to hit each other over the head with rocks or balls or whatever was nearby, and the girls would be playing princess or bride. Yes, tragically, this happens. Allison would roll her eyes and come over to talk to me about current events. Did you hear what Putin did on a horse yesterday? He's the president of Russia. Did you know that? She'd begin, and away we'd go. As we'd walk along the track, so that I could keep my eye on the other children in case one inevitably tried to attack another with a stick, Allison would mutter under her breath, "Savages." Every time our deep philosophical conversations about life and love would be interrupted by some foolish childlike behavior. Allison was everything that I had wished I had been at 6 and everything I still wanted to be at 26. And everything I hope I will have in my own child when I'm maybe 36. She didn't give about what other people thought. She was the darling of all of her teachers and was so responsible that she honestly put a lot of adults I know to shame. Allison, though, as we know, all good things must come to an end. And Allison approached me one day and informed me that she would not be walking the track with me for a while, as she had been invited to play Miss Mary Mack with Cecilia and wanted to try it out. No, not Cecilia, I thought. Cecilia was the meanest mean girl you could ever meet. Cecilia, at age 6, would viciously verbally attack other children, and when she was discovered in her wicked ways, would write the most unbelievably sardonic apology letters ever. "I'm sorry I said I'd kill you and your brother in your sleep. It was just a joke. Love, Cecilia. P.S. Best friends forever." So I was very, very worried about Allison's well-being with Cecilia, and it didn't take long for this innate cruelty to rub off on Allison, who in the span of a few weeks went from being the most lovely, conscientious child to a total terror. Growing up Jewish, we always puzzled over how one individual could have so much power over so many others and get them to mindlessly follow them, but I think I understood now. This sweet, affable, lovely little girl, Allison, that I knew, disappeared, and a cruel, rude rule breaker surfaced in her place. And this all threw me into a kind of existential crisis. Allison was the part of my job that I truly enjoyed. And soon, Allison graduated from being Cecilia's personal assistant to co-queen of the Mean Girls, and the nightmares really began. They routinely terrorized the other children, bullying them to such an extent that we had to have regular interventions with their parents involved. Allison, did our time together mean nothing to you? I wanted to scream, but it wouldn't have mattered. Allison was far gone, and I didn't matter to her at all. So I desperately wanted Allison back, though. No matter that I was 2 decades older than her, I wanted her to succeed, and I wanted her to stop making others miserable, and I wanted her to get out of the hooks of that charming snake, Cecilia. I tried a variety of techniques, offering extra credit rewards, or trying to enforce separation between the two of them, like physical, on the opposite sides of the room, and it didn't matter. But finally, my perfect opportunity arose. We had a field trip to Marvatats, a gymnastics studio where I myself had been a fat kid wannabe gymnast just 20 years earlier. I basically agreed to bounce around in a leotard every Saturday afternoon because my dad promised to take me out for pizza afterwards. Bless his heart. And as soon as we hit the floor, Allison came begging me to be her adult chaperone on the trampolines. Perfect, I thought. For now, I will overthrow Cecilia's reign of terror. Bounce up and down with me, cried Allison gleefully, and so I did. If I show her how fun I am, how kid-like and exciting I can be, she will leave Cecilia and she will spend more time with me again, I thought. I am a good influence, I reminded myself as Cecilia scowled on the floor below us. Do a sitting jump with me, screeched Allison. I can do this, I decided. I can do this for Allison. A sitting jump is where you stretch your legs out perpendicular to your body and land on your butt or your tailbone, whichever, and bounce back up to standing again. It's not complex, but it requires skill and agility and the body of a child. And in desperately trying to win Allison back and in trying to get in touch with my own inner child, I momentarily forgot that I was 26 and not 6 and enthusiastically agreed to a sitting jump. If I had done it as a fat 6-year-old, by golly, I could do it again. Except I couldn't get back up from sitting. In fact, I couldn't move my body at all. I had pulled my back out and lay in absolute agony as Allison bounced around me, further exacerbating my spinal spasms and my diminishing self-respect. As one worker evacuated the area, another rolled my incapacitated body off the trampoline as Cecilia and Allison stood cackling nearby. A2, Allison! I wanted to scream, A2! Cecilia had won. Not only was I in a back brace for the next 3 weeks, but the Mean Girls gang grew in size while I was relatively out of action. Allison went on to become a total terror, and I eventually quit that job, that messy, messy job, wondering why it is that good often does not prevail over evil. And I definitely learned that listening to the inner, or in this case, outer, child is not always the best idea. Thank you.